live on a Wednesday. It is the 17th of September. Welcome inside the Vault for a Ravens Lunch Hour live stream. It is brought to you by one of our newest sponsors out of Hunt Valley, Maryland, Wellness Plus Care. We'll tell you more about them in just a bit. I'm Bobby Trossett. This is Sarah Ellison, partner. It's been a heck of a start to this week. We are so lucky to have somehow, some way cultivated this kind of community. Over 1,187 to be exact, currently active channel members. That's what we have going on right now inside the Vault, and that is in large part due to just ridiculous efforts of generosity and support for this program. Eric Hill, Park Heights Prophet, you name it. There are so many that come to mind. And already today, Douglas H. Brown Sr., Eric, Nate Slattery, Sod Blitz. I mean, we're going to get to a bunch of super chats in the coming moments. Also wanted to note that we are 49 subscribers out from 26,000. So if you haven't already done so and you find yourself joining us on a daily basis, would mean a lot if you could hit that subscribe button, like the video on your way in. If you could, hit that notification bell, consider becoming a channel member or gift giving membership. And Sarah, later on this week, we're going to be giving away 2 tickets, courtesy of Eric, of course, lower bowl tickets, that is. And I think one section 126, I think, for Monday night. It's Ravens Lions. We're going to talk about that a lot throughout this show. And on Friday, we'll also be doing a vaultpod.com/shop giveaway, aka Vault merch, our new apparel line that we dropped over the summer. So anyway, I just wanted to start there. Here's in terms of the content, what we have coming up. Nick Wright, of course, we always follow his Ravens coverage, which sometimes can be a little skewed because of his Chiefs fandom, Sarah. But he has put Lamar Jackson atop what he refers to as Mahomes Mountain. Is it a setup? We'll discuss. Have the Steelers really lost their aura? Not great tape from them over the weekend. Jason Smith from Huddle It Up Films drops by to talk about Andrew Vorhees' struggles as we deep dive into some film study and a whole lot more along the way, including an honor from Roquan Smith that just came out moments ago. I could keep going because we got more, but that's what I have so far. It's great to see you on this Wednesday.
It's great to see you. It's going to be a great day because, Bobby, Robert Francis Trossett, hell hath frozen over. It is. Pigs are flying in the sky today. It is like a blizzard in southern Florida where you're at, because I cannot believe what has happened. Yes, Nick Wright, who is just as biased for the Chiefs as I am biased for the Ravens. You know his weekly shtick that he does. He has what he calls Mahomes Mountain. He puts his quarterback rankings in there. And Mahomes has been atop Mahomes Mountain for years and years and years. And 2 days ago, I was watching First Things First, and he teases Monday after they were talking about the Browns-Bills game. He's like, you know what? Just let you guys know there might be a shakeup on top of the mountain. And indeed there was. Here it is in all of its glory. Nick Wright, one of the biggest Lamar Jackson bashers. Some call him a hater, but here he is. He's got Lamar Jackson atop the mountain. He's alone all by himself on the top level. You've got Mahomes and Josh Allen in tier number 2. Tier number 3, he's got Baker Mayfield, Herbert, and Stafford. How did he come to this decision, you may ask? Well, I went over and I got the audio. Let's find out what Nick Wright is up to this week by putting Lamar up there. It just feels like could this be? Is he being real, or is this a setup? Chris Broussard had the same question.
First time in quite some time. Reveal row 2. Patrick, not at the top of the mountain. Got a must-win game coming up against the Giants. Josh played well, but it's more about what Lamar did, and Josh's numbers just were, they didn't have to be, and Lamar's numbers have been so great. And top of the mountain's Lamar, and after that must-win game in week 3, Patrick, guess who you have coming to Kansas City?
Oh, what?
The guy ahead of you on the mountain with a chance to reclaim your spot and remind everyone who the hell you are. But for the time being, Lamar Jackson, who is a couple votes away from potentially being, the leading candidate for a 3rd straight MVP at the moment. He is atop Mahomes Mountain.
What a day.
That is quite a
Wow. What a day. That's fair.
The mountain is fair.
I can't believe we're here. Mac Jones is on there.
I am.
Well, first.
Okay, before we get into Chris Broussard's question here, I love how the entire crew inside the studio is like, they don't even know how to react. They're just like, I can't believe I'm here to witness this. When you saw it, Bobby, were you shocked a little bit?
Well, it just chuckles. It makes me chuckle that they're like, the mountain is fair, suggesting that maybe it isn't always fair. Yes, we know that. There's a level of fandom and loyalty to Kansas City that I'm sure is sprinkled into these rankings and these mountaintop levels and tiers, if you will. But am I surprised? I don't know. I appreciate the acknowledgement, right? I think more than anything else, because it's become undeniable, Sarah. That's what it is. It's undeniable that Lamar is on a historic run, a historic tear. I could go on, but we might as well get back to our favorite Chris Broussard, who I'm sure is going to have a fun rebuttal of this.
Well, it is kind of funny because you'll notice, yes, he has Lamar up there, but you'll notice he says, Mahomes, you've been taken down to tier 2, but you have a chance to take it back in 2 weeks because the Ravens go to Kansas City in week 5. Everybody's got to play their week game 4 first. We're going to be worried about that. The Detroit Lions coming to town, who just put up 50 points last week. But I don't think it was a coincidence that he's setting it up that way, that Lamar and Mahomes will be head-to-head in 2 weeks, and Chris Broussard picked up on it too.
First of all, I wanted to ask you what made you put Lamar above Josh. But you said it at the end, like, because if Patrick beats
that's not why.
Yeah, no. It'll be an easy.
There's always an egg.
No. That was an added bonus. Honestly, it was simply that, and this is not totally fair to Josh, because they took their foot off the gas. They, you know what I mean? They had such an easy lead. He didn't have a huge game. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's for his yards or touchdowns or anything. And Lamar just accidentally threw for 4 touchdowns in a game that Derrick Henry didn't do anything against a defense that we thought could present some problems. So that's what it was.
I respect for moving Mahomes down, but you didn't move him down. And
oh my God! All right, now we've gone too
far. Keep it real. It can't be all history. Yeah. Like he's run the ball well, but he hadn't really played that well this year, certainly through the air. So I'm just moving him down 1 more row, and I'm switching him and Justin Herbert.
That's too much.
No, Herbert has been phenomenal.
Head to head.
Top 3. Well, no. I'm just saying right now, like, I still think Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league, but right now we got to look the games. To quote Nick Wright, the games matter.
That's true.
Right?
Okay. It is a fair question, like, because Lamar and Josh Allen went head to head in week 1. Josh Allen certainly had more production, mostly because they were playing from behind and the Ravens' run game was going. Lamar had a very much better week 2, and this is a week-to-week quarterback rankings. But it is like, did you put Lamar there just so that you could enjoy perhaps maybe Mahomes knocking him back off? And by the way, I misspoke. This week is week 3. Chiefs is week 4.
Correct. It's got me thinking about a couple things here, Sarah. Like, there seems to be more or less a universal acknowledgement and agreement that Lamar is the best player in the world and has been for an extended stretch of time now. The thing is, the best player in the world, and as we saw, the most talented team doesn't always win the game. We saw that in week 1. There was a talent gap between Baltimore and Buffalo. I think we can all agree on that. And look who ended up walking away victorious. The same can be said 2 weeks from now, where we feel like Lamar is on a more consistent stretch of success and overall performance and production. That may not lead to a head-to-head win over Mahomes. And quite honestly, we got to look at Baltimore's got to look itself in the mirror here in a sense and realize that they have only gotten past the Chiefs once in the Mahomes and Lamar era. And you got to go back to September of 2021. It was a 36-35 win. It was when Lamar flipped into the end zone. We all remember that. In recent times, there is nobody more than Pittsburgh and Kansas City has had Lamar's number. And so while I think he deserves to be atop this whole Mountain Mahomes, it's almost hard to say that. Mahomes Mountain.
Mahomes Mountain.
Thank you. Mahomes Mountain, to use Nick Wright's phrasing. There's still, like, you know what I mean? Like, two things can be true. In 2 weeks from now, when they travel to Arrowhead, where they have struggled mightily over the years in the Lamar era, they might fall short. And yet nothing's going to change in terms of this mountaintop right in the here and now, in my mind, assuming that Lamar continues to play at the high level MVP caliber type of standard that he's been sustaining now for multiple years running. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and just to point out, you were correct that the Steelers have had the Ravens number, but that seems to have changed last year.
Yes.
And Bobby, like you said, some of this is just undeniable. Like, look at these. I'm over at ESPN with the passing numbers, and you can rank them by category. You rank it by quarterback ranking. Lamar is number 1. Herbert is number 2. Just giving Broussard feels like he should have put Herbert above Mahomes. I mean, and the Chargers beat the Chiefs, in week 1. So there's an argument for him. But Justin Herbert's right below, well, not right below. Lamar's 136.6. Herbert is 127.8. So you see Lamar number 1 there. How about in QBR? Lamar's number 1 in QBR, which brings into is not just his arm, but it's also his legs. How about in touchdowns? Jared Goff and Lamar Jackson are tied at 6, but Jared Goff has an interception. Lamar, 0. Now you can go to yards. Lamar is the most efficient quarterback there is. He makes it look easy. We're talking like this is a volume stat. Lamar is number 17 there, but it's a volume stat. To be number 17 in yards, but number 1 in touchdowns. And by the way, so many of those touchdowns are 10 yards or more. So it's not like these gimme ones from 1 yard out. I mean, there's no doubt that Lamar is number 1 or number 2, wherever you want to put him. I agree with Nick that you got to put him number 1. And then, Bobby, it's kind of undeniable at this point. I don't think it's a coincidence that Lamar was doing stuff like this. And by the way, we buried Michael F. Florio yesterday for his terrible tweet about stat padding and whatever. But at least he put this one up. He put Lamar Jackson had his 11th career game with 4 plus pass touchdowns and no interceptions, passing who? Patrick Mahomes for the most ever before turning 30. And by the way, Mahomes turns 30 on Wednesday. Happy birthday. So the record is Lamar's. It's also the week that he's the best passer rating in NFL history. He obviously has the most quarterback rushing yards in NFL history. So it's almost as if like Nick couldn't deny it any longer. It had to be done. And then, Bobby, I just wanted to play this clip, a sensational clip from Fox Sports Radio. It's from The Odd Couple with Rob Parker and Kelvin Washington. They are one of the few national programs that talked about this stat that I have up here. On Monday morning, we said not enough people are talking about it. And those that are, they're kind of like rushing over it. Well, these guys talked about it a ton. And then they started talking about Lamar's legacy. And it was so nice to hear people finally repeating what we've said locally. They are now saying it nationally.
A lot of people talking about his proficiency at throwing the ball, which I was like, or even being able to read defenses. And I was like, dude, he played in a pro-style offense since he was a freshman in college. He played under Coach Petrino. Bobby Petrino is a highly skilled offensive guy that runs NFL type of stuff. And so I knew he could consume it. I knew he could process, and I knew he could throw from being there and seeing him in camp. And so when that narrative was out there, man, it really got under my skin. And so to see where he is now and to see how effortless it is for him to go out there and play the quarterback position, Rob.
But that's the word, effortless.
He's
must-see TV. And this is what I was telling people about. This is why I'm not a red zone guy.
Yeah.
I want to watch him play. I don't want to see when he's only in the – I want to watch the entire game. Why would you not want to watch Lamar Jackson play football? I want to watch every single moment.
He's the best football player in the league. Period.
And here's the other –
not even a quarterback player.
Here's the other thing.
Yeah.
It ain't going to take much to vault him over a lot of players, okay? Because once he wins that one Super Bowl,
all he needs is one.
He has to validate the whole thing.
Yeah.
But he has everything else you need, all the numbers, all the other stuff. And then if once he gets that one, and I say win, he's too good that he's not going to win. He is going to win. He's not like one of these, I don't know.
Yeah.
He's going to win.
Well, if his coach doesn't mess that up, we'll talk about that later. But
hey, what did I say, Rob G, about John Harbaugh?
if his coach doesn't mess that up,
Dude, I've said it. I think he should be fired because they can't they can't hold on to anything.
yeah, it's at a point like, okay, we know that every time in every big game something happens.
Something
right?
always.
But that's a lot of that has to do with coaching and being prepared for those moments too. So
I
there is a
totally
tie-in.
agree.
Yeah.
There is, but he is a marvel to watch.
Yeah.
Like there aren't that many players who you just want to when they do those ISO cams or just watch.
You want the camera on him all the time.
Like the movements. Hey, put the camera on me.
John Harbaugh for sure catching some strays there. Obviously, we've talked about this, especially after the Bills game. It is under John Harbaugh, too many double-digit leads lost. But boy, oh boy, did they also just say it perfectly about Lamar Jackson. He's the best player in the league, period.
Lamar has an opportunity here over the next few weeks, Sarah, to the legacy cementation conversation will obviously happen over a longer span. And to Rob's point, you win a Super Bowl with his resume to date at 28. He'll turn 29, I believe, in January. I think that's where he is right now. That'll happen over the long term, right? Over the next several months as they chase, a deep postseason run and hopefully have a chance to play in Santa Clara as the AFC rep. But over the next few weeks, like what can you control right now? You've already mentioned all these analytics and numbers, and we know that there is no more impactful player to his team in this game for this kind of sustained stretch. We shared the statistics yesterday that Jordan Schultz compiled right over the last 20 games. He's thrown over 50 touchdowns to 4 interceptions, and the rushing yards and the passing yards that have come with that, over 1,000 on the ground, over 4,000 through the air. It's been sensational to watch. But in the here and now for 25 and 26 purposes, what he has a chance to do really over the next 2 weeks, and then over the next 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks leading into a very early bye, which this year comes in week 7, is cement the 25-26 Ravens to completely make week 1 and that fourth quarter collapse an afterthought going into this bye week. You got a chance to go up against the high-flying Detroit Lions. You have had their number in recent years. What was it, 38-6 back in October of 2023, if memory serves? Dan Campbell got up at the post-game press conference and said, we were just essentially taught a lesson today. We got our you-know-whats handed to us. And while I think it's going to be different, hint, hint, I'll give my final prediction coming up, not necessarily outcome-wise, but while I think the overall score will be different this time around because this is a different level of potent offense that comes to town in the Lions, the Ravens have a chance to beat one of the NFC's top teams, right, at home, where they are so successful not only throughout the Harbaugh era, primetime home games, but throughout the Lamar era as well. And if you go and follow that up, right, and improve to what would be 3-1 the following week with a road win of that caliber. Yes, they're vulnerable right now, are the Chiefs, and sitting at 0-2, but you find a way to be 3-1 through the first 4 weeks, and you give yourself a chance between Houston and Los Angeles to potentially have like a clunker leading into, or a letdown game, if you will, still being above 500 after a murderer's row beginning of this season, entering your bye week, and then guess what you have out of the bye? You've got Chicago and Miami, 2 winnable games. And then Minnesota after that. Who knows what their quarterback situation is going to be. So you get where I'm going here. And then the AFC North play starts really week 11. You see Cleveland, you see Cincinnati, you see Pittsburgh, you see New York, meaning the Jets, sprinkled in there. This is an important stretch for them right now. And Lamar can not only cement his potential MVP candidacy for the next several months over the next couple weeks, but also the ability to go into your bye week with some slight breathing room, because on paper it's a lot lesser in terms of the overall talent and challenge the first 3 weeks out of the bye, call it maybe even 4 when you add Cleveland in there, than it was the last couple weeks to start this season.
Big opportunities for statement games, that is for sure. Super chats before we get into the next topic.
Yeah, before we do, let's talk about Wellness Plus Care, because they are our newest episode sponsor, our newest brand partnership this fall, and we're pleased to be joined by them for the upcoming Ravens season. And I want to say thank you to Brenda and Ivy and their tremendous team for the support. Right now, you can get 20% off your first testosterone treatment, by the way. All you got to do is mention the Vault. Let them know you're a VAULTRON when you call 410-202-3863. You can check out more information at wellnesspluscare.com. All that can be found in our show notes. There's a direct link to the site right now. It's a pinned comment in the live chat. And Sarah, I know you got to know Hunt Valley a little bit during your time in the Baltimore area. That's where they're located. And they are a full-service clinic focused on hormone therapy, medical weight loss, skin rejuvenation, IV therapy, peptide therapy, and genetic testing. Every care plan is personalized, and each patient works directly with the same provider. They are not just a number. I should say you are, right? You, meaning if you work at the clinic, if you start to work with them, you're not just a number. And Brenda Boggs leads the way. She's the owner and medical director of Wellness Plus Care. She's been a family nurse practitioner. She's got 34 years of patient care experience, cardiac and pulmonary hospital units, some of which is her career background here. She's got 18 years of service as occupational health medical director at a leading Baltimore hospital. I mean, she really not only knows everything about this field, but has an awesome website as well. Sarah, you take a look at this thing. I mean, it's honestly overwhelming when you start to look at the amount of different options to get involved. And so, I don't know, we could just start toggling through this. I mean, AgeJet, I was like, what is AgeJet? It's advanced plasma skin therapy. It delivers quick and easy treatments for a more youthful and refreshed look in only 10 minutes.
Yes,
I mean,
please.
Yeah,
Keep going.
What
else does Brenda have there to offer?
I already know you've been looking through this in your free time, haven't you?
Well, we got an email from Brenda the other day saying that we could come in and get our levels checked. And I'm like, yes, please. I mean, there's so many reasons for me to come back and make a visit to Baltimore. And we definitely need to time it up together. But I 1000% want to come in, get my levels checked, whatever that skincare thing is. Because again, I do not want to go down the road of like Botox and all that kind of stuff. I just want to treat my skin healthy, you know? Everything in here, wellness. Like it's a wellness place. It's made for where I want to be. I want to be there.
Okay, right? This is what I'm talking about. I think other people it has that effect on them as well, based on what I'm seeing in the live chat right now. But more on AgeJet, for example, when you toggle over to this part of the site, it's a revolutionary skin rejuvenation treatment that uses advanced plasma energy to stimulate your skin's natural healing processes. So I'm learning a lot as I go here. We haven't even gotten to the red light therapy part of this site. There is so much to choose from. Again, VAULTRONs right now, the incentive out there for you is you can get 20% off your first testosterone treatment. If you are interested, all you got to do, mention the Vault when you call 410-202-3863. It's wellnesspluscare.com. You can find more information in the show notes, also as a pinned comment right now in the live chat. And to your point, Sarah, early this morning, Brenda was like, hey, love the content. Let me know when you guys are going to be in town. Get your levels checked. Evaluation with lab work would be included. So perhaps if you come to town for a playoff run, maybe we talk to Brenda about that.
Let's get Brenda on the horn. I like it.
Let's get to some super chats. Thanks to Brenda, Ivy, and her tremendous team for the continued support. We love working with local sponsors more so than anything else. And that's exactly what Wellness Plus Care is, like Gundry as well. Nate Slattery has become our newest channel VAULTRON, and I believe I saw that he upgraded it to VAULTRON Plus, meaning the top tier level when it comes to our support and the opportunities that exist when it comes to channel membership. So thank you, Nate. And thanks to Douglas H. Brown Sr., Sarah, who apparently has a busy day, which is why he dropped this at 6:25 a.m. Eastern.
Dang, I love it. Early to rise. Let's go. It says, I will be in the field all day today, but I wanted to do my part and leave love for you two and all the VAULTRONs. I know you're not here, Douglas. I'm sure you'll listen later. Thank you for your support.
Always. He's the man. Saad Blitz says 100% a setup. Literally said it's to inspire Mahomes. That's in response to our first topic of the day, Sarah, which of course was the Mahomes Mountain tiers. Edward Whittles or Whitles, probably Whittles, I would think. Ed, what's going on? $19 super chat, Sarah, for you.
Glad I could finally catch a live show. I'm a huge Ravens fan, but I'm very disappointed our team was one of only 5 teams that declined a moment of silence for Charlie Kirk on Sunday. #9-1.
Did see that making its rounds on X. Probably a decision that was made, don't know, by ownerships there. Not sure how that typically goes.
There was the 30th season anniversary. A lot was already planned, and who knows the decision making, but each team has got to do what they got to do.
Thanks for the super chat, Ed, for sure. John R. with a super sticker. Appreciate you for being here today, John. And Eric Hill comes in hot with a 50 spot. Man, beginning at hey, that came through nice and clear. That came through nice and clear. Eric Hill is dropping in a 50 spot. That's 50 new channel memberships. We began the day at over 1,100. And man, oh man, Eric, you are unbelievable. You are a one-man wrecking crew when it comes to Meatloaf. Thank you, EH, for being here. It's a 50 spot to begin. And on top of that, Meatloaf squared from Eric Hill. It's magenta background, and this one's for you.
It says, good afternoon, everybody. In case no one tells you today that they love you, just know that I do. Hope everyone is safe and enjoying their day. #6K for LJ. #9-1. #Suicide Awareness Month. #Stop the 22.
Eric,
thank you, Eric.
So many people in this chat that I know appreciate you just as much as we do. Oh, man, incredible week from you. We can't wait to give away your tickets that you are so generously offering up to 2 VAULTRONs later on this week. Ocean says, look at Lamar's stats on Monday Night Football. It's wild. Also, I realize this is the first Monday Night Football in Baltimore since 2021. So the second game with a crowd at home under Lamar in terms of the Monday Night Football format. Sarah, a couple of his have come on the road in just ridiculous blockbuster type of performances, right? The Rams comes to mind in 2019. I want to say that was. The Bucks come to mind recently. That was in Tampa Bay. Lamar shows up. You already know he shows out for primetime games. Home, we'll have some statistics on their home record in these slates coming up later on in the show. But PHP, Sarah, $19.01. He continues his trend, and this one's for you.
Just a few more days until the world witnesses this 2025 Ravens team in all its glory. We need to take the Lions for a walk, a dog walk, and put belt to you-know-what. I need that Jackson 5. #9-1. #no picks. #40 every week.
PHP, Jason Smith from Huddle It Up Films, just hopping into the waiting room. Jason will be right with you. We're going to rip through some more super chats. But in the meantime, if you could resend your Vorhees tape to me, that would be helpful. I never saw anything come through in our inbox. PHP, you're the man.
I think he sent it to me.
Okay.
Let me check.
Then never mind, Jason. But if you could do both, just in case. D-Row14 is celebrating 4 months of channel membership, and he writes, Nick wrong. Finally got it right. Ray Dog We Trust says Ravens either blow out the Lions or lose by 3-5. Only way to lock the W is dropping 60 plus. You want 60 plus hung on Detroit, huh, Ray Dog? That would be insane. Rave Kingdom, Big E3, celebrating 5 months of channel membership. What's going on? Rave, he says, hello, everyone. I love you all. I've been busy. In the words of MJ, no, I love you more. Everyone say this with me. #Ben Cleveland. Liza writes, I saw this the first thing this morning and went running to tell my husband, hell has frozen over. We are going to beat the Chiefs. They are imploding. Mahomes calling out Travis's postgame in an interview. I missed that, Liza. I'm not sure I've seen that at all. So let us know what you're referring to on that.
Hey, real quick, Jason, I see you frantically moving. I've got the video. I'll have it uploaded. You're
okay.
Good.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate that. And needless to say, Jason Smith from Huddle It Up Films joins us in a couple minutes, and we're going to take a close look, Sarah, at and some of Andrew Vorhees' struggles at left guard and whether or not that door could be open for the depth that they have at that position. There's not a ton of depth, but there are some guys in there, and we'll have to see. Obviously, that makes you wonder about just Emory Jones and what his status is. It's been a long time since John Harbaugh was asked about him. He's the rookie, second or third round, one of those two.
Third.
On day 2. Thank you.
Mike Green second.
Yeah, correct. Thank you. C. Brittle, this one's for you.
Nick is trolling us. He says, Lamar is up so we can tear him down. Just gaslighting.
the test or PEPs accelerates cancer. Stay natty, flock. Appreciate you, Deshaun.
Natural.
George, Sarah, for you.
Ravens should have a chip on their shoulder. #Vault.
George W. Martin the fourth. Kind of like that.
Great name.
Sod Blitz 34. 8 at home Monday. 1,949 yards, 22 touchdowns, 124.3 passer rating in 9 games. Woo-hoo.
Not bad.
Sod Blitz all over it, man. It's prime time Lamar. We know what he's about. And with that, we appreciate you guys for being with us on this Wednesday. We've enjoyed diving into, I'd say, a little diversification of the channel content recently. And what better way to do that than bring in Huddle It Up Films, Jason Smith, huge Ravens fan, big part of Ravens Twitter, friend of ours, I know that for sure. Jason has a Huddle It Up Films YouTube channel. You can also find his work on Twitter as well. And Sarah, being that this offensive line has left a little bit to be desired through the first couple weeks of this season, let's bring in our guy. Great to see you, brother. Happy Wednesday to you. And why don't you quickly preview for us what you've got coming up over the next couple minutes?
Sure. Tough assignment, actually. When you guys said you wanted to preview Vorhees specifically, and, the PFF grade of 5.6, not out of 10, but out of 100, is a rough grade. And then you look at some of the other numbers where he was only credited or charged with 2 hurries allowed. And you're like, why? Wait a minute. Why is this? Lamar had 29 pass attempts. How can he only give up 2 hurries and have a grade of 5.6? And I think this video today will bring some context to that. And real quickly, I wanted to give context if you care to respond first.
No, that's exactly why we asked about Vorhees. Is yesterday on the show, we pulled up the PFF grades, and he was the lowest graded Raven on offense, maybe of the whole team. And Daniel Fa'alele was like average. And so Gordon McGinnis of PFF said everybody's talking about Daniel Fa'alele, but it's Vorhees who has played more poorly. And so that's why, when I saw that 5.3 grade, I was like, dang, what is going on here? And that's why I reached out to you specifically on Vorhees.
Sure. So just to give some context, Lamar actually dropped back to pass 35 times. He had 29 attempts, but one of those was a scramble. You had penalties in there and the sacks, of course, that he took. So I charted 35 dropbacks. Now on those, Vorhees was giving help or getting help on a bunch of them. There were some gimmicks like, the screen passes to Justice Hill where offensive linemen just check their guys and get out into the flat. There were 16 times where Vorhees was one-on-one in pass pro. So 16 times Vorhees one-on-one in pass pro. And we're going to show 8 of these plays, and none of them are good. So the context there, guys, is that you're only asked to man up 16 times. I could have honestly added more than 8, but I just figured to keep it to 8. There was really one good rep that I saw in pass pro from Andrew
out of
Vorhees.
16? 1 out of 16?
I mean, there are a few others, Sarah, where you could get nitpicky. Maybe this you consider it good, maybe you consider it poor, but he had one really solid rep. And just think of like the pass rush win rates, how tough it is to get a sack. I mean, you get 1 sack a game, you're all-pro defensive player of the year. So the offensive linemen are supposed to win. They're supposed to win. It's supposed to be the other way around. So usually you have games where it's 1 or 2 bad reps. I only found like 1 really good pass blocking rep out of the 16 one-on-ones for Vorhees. So, and Bobby, just a little bit of advice. If you move your cursor kind of along with the video, and you keep your cursor here at the beginning of the play, and you can just rewind that bet or just click on your mouse and it'll reset right back to the purple circle portion of the video.
Jason, can you not have control as the guest? Only we can control it?
I believe so. I don't see anything that I can click on, but just to avoid when I do this, I keep my mouse right at the beginning of the play.
Okay.
And that way I just got to click the thing on the play bar and it goes right back to the original.
Oh, on the play bar. Okay.
And Sarah's your girl today since she's got the clip.
Okay. Sorry about that.
I got you. Okay. Here, you want me to start it?
Yeah, you can start it, and don't be afraid to rewind it. Now, Sarah, it's going to go full speed first and then half speed second. So you can see the wide hands, and that's one of the pressures he was charged for. Wide hands are a common theme on this that you'll see. The hugging action. Now, you want to punch in the chest plate Watch how wide his hands get here. And this is an undrafted free agent rookie. His name is Aiden Huntington. Didn't study him, getting to Vorhees. So there's 3 different players. This is a rep against Malik Collins. You might want to show this a couple of times. Just an excellent job by Malik Collins here. He was the Browns' highest rated defender at 92.5. And when the guy across from you is scoring a 92.5, that spells doom for you. But you can just see the stagnant feet there. A tough assignment for Vorhees on this one, quite honestly. But I wanted to give it in the context of how quick this pressure is and nowhere to go with the ball for Lamar. Again, great job by Collins, but you would like to see a better effort from Vorhees on this play just to give Lamar a little more time, a little bit better mirror anticipation. And again, he's barely putting hands on him there.
Yeah.
You know, what's interesting, Sarah, is that Malik Collins, came up in conversation earlier this week, Jason. I'm sure you remember the specific play, the classic Lamar stiff-armed by himself a half second to laser that ball to Zay Flowers. And you're thinking, oh, look at Malik. He's on the wrong end of that. But he had himself a day, as you see here, giving Vorhees work.
Yeah, and Malik Collins been in the league for a while. We'll see some reps from 93 Shelby Harris. He's been on 6 different teams in 11 seasons. And again, the undrafted rookie just flew here. So this isn't Chris Jones, who we're going to see in a couple of weeks. Again, down by the goal line, and Vorhees gets dismissed. And Sarah, on this replay, you may want to slow this one down and just click on the first few seconds. But this is going to be graded especially harsh from PFF because it's a turnover-worthy play by Lamar. So this is going to knock Lamar's grade down a lot. It's a special effort by Tylan Wallace there to break it up. But again, the wide hands, the hugging. If you want to go back again, you can just see it. It's almost like a hugging action. No punch here, leaving his chest completely exposed and easily dismissed by Collins. So this is a really bad rep, especially when you add the context of it being down by the goal line. And if Lamar gives up an interception there, it's going to be all eyes on Vorhees. But, nobody really had a good day. Go ahead, Sarah. Sorry.
Well, I have a question for you because I was watching the Ravens Collective with Bobby Trossett and Cole Jackson and Jeff Zrebeck. And Cole Jackson said that he feels like he's been seeing wider hands along the whole offensive line, including with Rosengarten. And so he wondered if George Warhop was teaching it differently. Do you see this being a problem across the entire line too?
I do. I think Faalele, you can watch him on this rep. That's something that he has yet to clean up. And I mean, something to keep in mind too with Vorhees. He'll turn 27 in January, guys. He had an extended college career due to injuries. Now, this is only his 6th start, but you would expect better. Some basic hand placement issues, is something that you would figure at USC, and now 2 years on the Ravens to get it cleaned up. But yes, definitely an issue all around. I would have to agree with Cole on that. I didn't hear him say that, but that's a great point by Cole. Again, here, giving up his chest. And this one, I believe, is a little bit of you reach, I teach, a famous phrase out there. But you can see Andrew just reaching and getting over his skis and just easily dismissed. And Lamar has to run for his life, and Myles Garrett's chasing him down. But again, this is half of his reps, half of the reps that he was singled up one-on-one. And we're just seeing one ugly rep after another. So I expect better from Andrew Vorhees, even though this is only his 6th start. And it brings me no pleasure calling out players like this. It really doesn't. But this will give you an idea of the grade. Again, it's a good thing Lamar doesn't have to go to his left because there's no recovery available here for Vorhees, who, again, is just completely exposed. Wide hands again. You see defender be able to get into his chest and just easily shed that block. I mean, you can't even really call it a block. He's just wide hands. That also opens you up to holding penalties. As you know, if you see the side of that jersey tug, the ref is going to see that every time. So this was a mind-numbingly out of character, I want to say, performance for Vorhees because, I mean, he struggled the first 3 games of last year, but I've never seen him play like this, college or pros. And again, you maybe see this as a little nitpicky, but it's the same type of issues here. It's a ball out quick, so it doesn't hurt the Ravens. But again, the wide hands, the off balance over his skis, a little more reaching, the fundamentals across the line, I would say, are lacking. I would say specifically with the guards, Ronnie's solid. Tyler Linderbaum's solid, and most of Roger Rosengarten's issues that I've seen so far this year are just a strength issue. I would have liked to seen Roger come back a little stronger this year, physically. But again, this one, you would say it's nitpicky, but he gets beat with quickness again. Just a little heavy-footed, not anticipating. And I believe this may be one of the last plays we have. Actually, there's one more. You see his off balance and his feet come out from under him a little bit there.
Yep. I think this one's the last one.
This is the throw to D-Hop. And again, I love D-Hop on this. Like, look at the attitude. Like, man, why you got,
Bobby, you may
catch that ball.
So for some reason, my mouse isn't working, Bobby. If you want to take over, sorry.
Sure.
There you go.
But yeah, just a quick look at that. Again, the feet are all over the place. The hands are all over the place. There's just nothing fundamentally sound here from Vorhees. So yeah, that's the 8 snaps, and this is a man-on-man go ball to D-Hop, and he gets mugged, and that ball might not even be catchable. But yeah, just good look at D-Hop, like the attention that he gets there. So
Jason, most of these are not even Myles Garrett incorporated, right? The majority of these looks like 96, right? Collins.
Yeah, it's Malik Collins, who again has been in the year. I think he was drafted the year Ronnie was drafted. 4 or 5 different teams for Malik Collins. Shelby Harris, 11th season, 6 teams, and a UDFA rookie free agent, taking it to Vorhees there. So it's concerning because the Lions are aggressive up front. What the Chiefs have up front, and then we have the Texans, who hang their hat on their defensive front. And then you have the Rams, whose young defense came right at that and made them competitive off the bat. This is all before the bye week. So the Ravens have to get their stuff together on the offensive line. And, one note about this game also is that Lamar looked tremendous compared to what I saw on Sunday, which I thought he had a good game. But when you factor in the constant breakdowns among the line, I mean, this isn't counting the times that Tyler Linderbaum had bad reps, or the times that Rosengarten had bad reps, or trying to deal with Myles Garrett, So Lamar, really, this could have been one of those games, guys, where, Lamar throws for under 200 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. The score is like 18-16, like that Pittsburgh game last year. And everybody's saying, what's wrong with Lamar? Why can't he get it done? I mean, it was that ugly across the board on the defense or the offensive line. But Vorhees has to be the main culprit. And now you see why. I mean, I don't know how they come up with 5.6 as a grade, but with some pretty high impact, like you're supposed to win 95% of your pass rush. It's set up for you to win. And to have half of your reps look like what we just saw was very disappointing. And last thing, again, I could have added the other 8 or 3 or 4 more, but I figured that pretty much told the story with those 8 reps.
Yeah, I think we definitely got the point. I just have a couple of questions for you. For a while in the beginning of the game, I mean, the run game was going nowhere, but Todd Monken kept running to the right behind Roger Rosengarten and Daniel Fa'alele. And like here in my desk at the TV, I'm like, can you try the left side? Can you just try? Is Vorhees maybe a reason that he was avoiding the left-hand side?
I mean, his run blocking, I have the cut up on the channel of all the run blocking and all the pass blocking. Vorhees' run blocking wasn't very good in this game, but it was better than anything we were getting on the right side. I mean, that's part of the argument that I make. It seems like almost every time I come on here or go on my show is that, Fa'alele is very good at down blocking. You ask him to crush the one tech, the nose tackle, he can do that. But the outside zone, the climbs, the reach blocks, all the rest, the outside zone is not something that he can do. And then Roger, he was getting knocked back at times like you would see from a tight end. Looks like a tight end at the end of the line and not your right tackle. So that's what I worry about for the rest of the season, guys, is that we're going to be just like last year where you're limiting your 2 best players, Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, standing right behind these guys. And I understand the Ravens' philosophy. Look, you got a great center, great left tackle, great right tackle. If we can get average play, both of those guys are surrounded on their left and their right by great players, we should be fine. But man, do we have to resort to that pitch left a lot, Sarah? I mean, it's pretty much all we have. It seems like we have to throw half the run plays out the playbook, depending on how the defense is playing us.
Now, you said at one point, you said it was uncharacteristic of Voorhees, because I was going to ask you, like, what's the solution going forward? Is it just simply, hey, put your hands in the chest rather than being wide, get your balance? So do you think that he's better than what we just saw on tape?
I do. I think this was a bad day, for like with Faalele, just to compare, I think there are physical limitations that won't allow him to execute the blocks that I just went on about. With Voorhees, it's not like that. I think this was a down game. And for the first 3 games of last year, Voorhees did not play well, but he came back in that week 18 game, if you guys remember, and played lights out. So we've seen it from Voorhees. We've seen him be able to lead the way in the run game and be solid in pass pro. So the arrow, I would say, is still up on Voorhees. I'm not down on him. I think that he can improve. Same with Roger. Maybe Roger's just off to a slow start. Things will get better for him. So I think that there's hope, but we're going to really be tested in these next, 4 games.
Yeah, Chris Jones coming to town.
Hey, not to mention, Jason, that Week 18 game that you just mentioned last year, that was against the same Cleveland Browns. Now, they were out of playoff contention at that point, as they typically are in the regular season finale. And I'm sure it wasn't, a fully motivated Cleveland team the way they would be week 2, just naturally. But man, that continued thought of, Pat, whenever you're ready to come back and get that calf together, they need you. This offensive line needs 42 out there as soon as possible. I see the live chat, some hanging their hats on the idea of Emory Jones coming back to save this offensive line. That feels very risky to me at this point. He could be looking at a redshirt season the same way that Andrew Voorhees did just a couple years ago, Jason, after that torn ACL.
And the other thing that really just puzzles me is we've seen guys like John Simpson, Bradley Bozeman, Ben Powers, Pat McCary play this left guard spot and be fine. And I'm sure that the Ravens are banking on Voorhees to be able to do that. Is the loss of Joe D? I'm going to say it's fair to question. I think it's fair to question. I mean, Joe was a great coach. Rest in peace. And there's nothing against George Warhop, but I'm not seeing the level of play that allows these Ravens to graduate and plug and play at guard. And just, it seems like everybody who plays guard for the Ravens goes on and gets another contract somewhere else. Yeah. So I want to see them tighten this up. I think that they have the skills to do it, especially at left guard and right tackle, but it's every game is important.
Last question for you. We'll let you go. A lot of times when I hear national media talking about the Ravens and how good they are when they were talking about the roster, and I do think the Ravens have one of the best rosters in the league, they always say, offensive line is solid. I don't know how often you get to look at other offensive line play, but how would you characterize the Ravens offensive line? Is it like average, above average, below average, well below average? Like, where would you put them?
I would say at this point, the pass blocking is above average. I think it's an above average pass blocking line. The communication amongst all of them are pretty good. Faalele's strength is pass blocking. Think about Ronnie. Think about Roger with the quick feet. It's a good pass blocking line. It's the run game that really concerns me, is something that may not be an issue that gets much better. I mean, you play lesser teams, lesser talented teams, and it looks great. But man, we should not have to rely on Lamar Jackson's threat of the read option or just pitching left as our bailout plan against teams that aren't like the Buffalo Bills front, which is very light, so on and so forth, because we're going to face teams throughout the season and eventually in the postseason that are just more talented, more physical than us up front. And it's going to have to be the Lamar Jackson show. And I think they're going to be really careful with how they divvy up these called runs. Like Lamar only had one called run. If you remember, it was down by the goal line to the right sideline this game, because you don't want your quarterback getting beaten up. The good thing is the man defense that we played this week, the 5-man fronts that we saw, the aggressive penetrating defense that the Browns played, it does open them up to be susceptible in the pass game. And we have the weapons to exploit that.
Ooh, with Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry out there, you got to turn that around. Run blocking definitely needs improvement. Jason.
And guys, I know we're running short, but what do you think are the chances that we actually trade for an offensive lineman? Because I think it happened last year in the NFL, but there aren't enough good offensive linemen to go around in the first place. Like, I'm actually curious to see what you guys think about that.
I mean, Eric DeCoste definitely definitely likes to make trades at the trade deadline. He thinks he gets good bargains at that time, and he does. Sometimes those bargains are bargains because somebody else is just ready to let them go. So to me, it all has to do with supply and demand. And a lot of times offensive linemen are, the good ones aren't going to be, I don't know. I have a hard time thinking that there's a savior offensive guard out there. One could always pop up, but it's hard to think that could happen mid-season.
There are definitely no edge rushers, Jason. I know that.
Yeah.
Right. Just cross one off the list. Hey, we didn't go overtime today. So we kept it nice.
You are the man. We appreciate your insight as always, Jason. Let everybody know what you got coming up on Huddle It Up Films for week 3.
Sure. Huddle It Up Films on YouTube is where I have all the pass blocking reps. So not just these 8, but I have all the pass blocking reps on the channel. Just uploaded that. I was studying, doing all those numbers, how often we're out blocks and all that. And I have the run blocking. So I just focused on the offensive line. Later this week, I want to take a look at Peebles. I want to take a look at TJ Tampa. And then tonight at 9:00 p.m. Eastern, if anybody wants to swing by and talk some ball and look forward to this Lions matchup, I'll be on at 9:00. But thank you guys so much. Love both of you. Appreciate being on. It's always good. No Suggs though on with me. I saw Suggs on the day after I was on last week, and I thought he was joining us for a film little session.
That would be nice. We would like him to break down all these offensive or outside linebackers. You and him, you guys could tag team. So
yeah, best friends.
Yeah,
my first jersey, Terrell
Heck
Suggs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome.
Heck yeah, you're the man, dude. Thank you so much, Jason. Talk to you. Huddle It Up Films finest. And a nice little plug there for our Sizzle interview last week. Guys, would highly encourage you to go check that out in our best of playlist section on the homepage of the Vault YouTube channel. Terrell Suggs, the great T Sizzle, was kind enough to join us for a few minutes last week. Monica Reinsfelder, who's got her purple Vault t-shirt on, which we love, is celebrating 5 months of channel membership. And she writes, love my VAULTRON family, Bobby and Sarah. Thanks, PHP, Eric Hill, Douglas Brown, for all of your gifts. We are blessed, and we certainly are, and we echo those sentiments. Monica, thank you for being here today. Sod Blitz, Sarah, as he always does, throwing in some statistics for us.
We are blessed because check this out from Sod Blitz. Home primetime games. Harbs is 20-3. Lamar, 8-1. The Ravens are good in primetime.
Yes, they are. Thank you, Sod. We're going to have more on that from Ravens comms coming up in just a bit. JT401 says, did you all discuss how quickly we benched Trenton Simpson for Teddy, but for whatever reason, 77's position still goes untouched? Teddy, 60 snaps defensively. Week 2, Sarah, 15 for Trenton Simpson. We have talked a little bit about Fa'alele, but as you just saw in some of that clip and some of that work and study from Jason, it was not 77 that was the culprit on Sunday against the Browns.
I think the backup has a lot to do with it. Teddy versus Ben Cleveland. We all know how John Harbaugh feels about Ben Cleveland. So King Lee says, I will be in B-More Lot G on Monday night. I know PHP is heading that up along with a lot of other Voltrons.
What's going on, King? Flip to Freedom says, you guys are amazing. Let's go Ravens. Rafike says, not to harp on this, but I suspect the Ravens declined to do the moment of silence for Charlie Kirk is because the heat they got in 2017 for being too political. Clinton writes, always good to listen in on Jason and the Vault when I should be doing OSHA. What is this? OSHA 40 Haswhopper modules. Clinton, I would love to know what you do for a living. I have absolutely no clue without Googling what this is. Sarah, do you know?
Isn't OSHA like the organization? Maybe I don't know. The organization that overlooks the policies for building, making sure people are aligned with the safety codes.
I got you. 40-hour hazardous waste operations and emergency response training, which is the initial comprehensive OSHA mandated training for workers with significant exposure risk at hazardous waste sites or emergency response operations. Clinton, you're cool, dude. That's cool. Now get back to that. That sounds a lot more important than what we're doing right today. So thank you, Clinton. And that brings us to Antoine.
Antoine says, I think our offensive line is being taught the wide hands. That's what I asked Jason. He seems to agree. And so did Cole Jackson on your guys' show last night.
Is this dude for real? It's $100 spot from Eric Hill. That's a red banner attached. I'll get to vocals in just a second. You remember that game, Frogger? Right? It's so big that our heads are not even in the picture because of how big this super chat is. You remember that game, Frogger? That's how I feel right now, dodging raindrops and cars loading my truck. Anyway, I am humbled by the comments and responses. I truly can't respond to all, but I see you, and I'm truly blessed by this community, as are we. Hashtag blessed. Hashtag the vault. Eric Hill with $100 super chat, and we continue on an unbelievable Wednesday inside the vault. Eric, you are massive. Let's go. Antoine.
Let's go, Eric. Antoine, let's go, too. Can we imagine this team with an above-average line? We'd be even more unstoppable. Apparently, they're above-average pass blocking, but we got to get that run blocking up. Per Jason.
What's up, Chris? Super chat from CC. Appreciate you, Chris. And PHP says, are we missing 42 more than we know? I wonder how much he covered up and opened clogged lanes that are not available now. Come back, Pat. And nothing imminent so far, Sarah, in terms of what could be a suggestion or a hint for his return timetable. Remember, Jeff noted, he reminded me yesterday, because it's a Monday night game. This was on the Collective last night. There's no practice and no practice report until Thursday. So we have another 24 hours plus until we get a good sense of who came out of Sunday clean and who didn't necessarily do so against those Cleveland Browns.
Doesn't feel good with Pat, though. Doesn't feel good. And again, last night in the Collective, Jeff talking about, he's like, Pat for sure had to have had a setback because he thinks the Ravens were expecting him week 1. Yeah. And now we're already in question for week 3. Even if we return to practice this week, would he be ready? I think PHPA is onto something here. I think that they miss Pat sorely.
Yeah, for no doubt. Appreciate you guys for being with us on this Wednesday. Over 2,300 concurrents at the moment. If you could like the video on your way in or out, subscribe, hit that notification bell, consider becoming a channel member or gift-giving membership, or supporting the show by visiting thevaultpod.com/shop, which is our new apparel line that we dropped over the summer. All of that and more, super appreciated on our ends to you guys. Partner, we're going to talk about an in-division rival and maybe the best rivalry in all of football that right now, one of the two struggling mightily through 2 weeks of the season. Bring us into that topic, if you would.
What's crazy is we were talking about 2 AFC North teams earlier this week that right now in week 2, it already feels like their seasons might be over. We're talking about the Bengals because they've lost Joe Burrow until at least December 14th, if not longer. Any team that loses their franchise quarterback, you can almost kiss your playoff hopes goodbye. And last year, even with them, they didn't make the playoffs. Then we just saw the Browns. We saw the drumming that the Ravens put on, despite them having a phenomenal defense. And it just doesn't feel good that their 40-year-old quarterback, and then you got 2 rookies who don't seem to be able to overtake him. The Browns don't look like a playoff team. So that's half of the AFC North. But we didn't get to really talking too much about the Pittsburgh Steelers, who, yes, they beat the Jets in week 1, but they got pounded and just beat into submission against the Seattle Seahawks this last week, to the point, Bobby, not only was the score lopsided, I believe 31-17, something like that, but now you've got Pittsburgh Twitter fan accounts saying, I think we've lost our aura. Here's the Blitzberg. Some of you might follow him or have seen him on Twitter. They put up this caption saying, never seen another team like this on the sidelines in Pittsburgh. I'm going to show you the video in just a second. The aura is gone. No one is afraid anymore of the Steelers. Right next to it, Bobby, The Athletic has a story about it. The Seahawks hijack renegade, as we know in Baltimore. We've been seeing this for years. It's always in the fourth quarter when they need a big defensive stand or need a big moment. They play the Renegade song. And then all the yellow towels come out and the crowd is rocking. The stadium is rocking. Well, the Seahawks weren't intimidated at all. And as Blitzberg had posted, here's what it looked like at, say their name of their stadium again. I can't get over that it's not Heinz Field anymore. Acrisure. So here they are. They've got the Renegade song going. I see more white towels from the team of the Seahawks than I'm seeing gold towels. And I get that they're not showing the crowd as much, but the Seahawks are just completely unintimidated not afraid. In fact, they're like, you know what? I kind of like this song. I'm going to use it for me. I'm not going to be intimidated. And so, yeah, I don't see any aura going on there for the Steelers. And what's funny, Bobby, though, is even though Blitzburg doesn't remember it, we remember it. The Ravens back in 2022, similar thing. Look at Marlon Humphrey with his towel acting like he's like playing a guitar. Calais Campbell, like it's almost as if the song was made for the Ravens, not the Steelers. It's not working anymore. Hasn't for a few years against the Ravens. They're not intimidated by it. But now it's an NFC team coming in being like, what is this doing? All it's doing is pumping me up. Doesn't do anything for you right now.
Yeah, this is interesting, Sarah, because obviously kind of feels like in recent years, Mike Tomlin and company, while overperforming maybe based on roster construction and expectations that came with that, it has felt like when you check in with their fan base and you see tweets like from Blitzburg, what you just had up on the screen, it does kind of feel like they're hanging on by a thread of the Pittsburghs of old. And obviously they've been in a really quarterback, I don't want to say purgatory, but a quarterback carousel since Ben Roethlisberger retired. They have not been able to figure out a successful succession plan for Big Ben whatsoever. And we're going to learn a lot about these Steelers over the course of the next couple weeks. So out of the gate, they beat the Jets 34-32 in week 1. And then they lost to Seattle, as you mentioned, 31-17. That was at home. And how Mike McDonald and company did it was, Steelers had very little ground game going. They turned the football over twice. Those were Aaron Rodgers interceptions. On the ground in terms of rushing yards, just 72. They were outgained in terms of total yardage, 395 to 267. So Cowboys won in the trenches, Seahawks won in the trenches. It's funny that they actually, from a overall turnover stand, they both had 2 turnovers. So it's not like, the Steelers won the turnover battle or lost the turnover battle, should I say. They were terrible on third down, 5 of 15. And so when you take a look ahead, though, when I was saying a second ago, we're about to learn a lot about them. You've got New England in a rebuild at New England coming up in week 3. You've got a quarterback-less Minnesota Vikings at home in week 4. They're going to have Carson Wentz starting for them, and they just signed Desmond Ridder. J.J. McCarthy's got a high ankle sprain, their rookie. And obviously, Sam Darnold is with the Seahawks now. So that whole experiment last year that worked really well for the Vikings is no longer. Then they've got Cleveland. Then they've got the quarterback-less Bengals. There's a lot of quote-unquote winnable games on this roster, on this schedule for them over the next several weeks. They have a week 5 bye, which is really early, just like the Ravens. It's not week 5, but they both have early bye weeks. And then they have Green Bay, their true test in week 8. There's not a lot of tests leading up to that. So there are some winnable games coming up, but if they're not winning these winnable games, you're going to learn a lot about what the Steelers are all about in this Aaron Rodgers potentially 1-year era that they're living in right now.
Yeah, and speaking of Aaron, like you said, it was really just a one-dimensional offense because they couldn't get the run game going. Same thing happened with the Browns. You can't have 40-year-old quarterbacks dropping back as much as they are. You need a ground game. I remember when you and I were debating in the offseason whether or not Aaron Rodgers was going to be able to succeed, you talked about all the pieces around him. You're like, well, the Steelers have a better defense than the Jets did. And they do a better job of the ground game that will be able to complement him. Those were some of the things that was necessary in order for him to have kind of one last, big season before he retires. But again, 37 dropbacks, that's not what you want for your 41-year-old quarterback. He only had 18 completions on those, 203 yards, only 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions. His passer rating, Bobby, 58.0 from a former Super Bowl MVP and multi-time MVP, 58.0 passer rating. Woof. And then the defense, the Steelers defense, which is supposed to be its calling card, they let Sam Darnold overcome 2 interceptions. The Steelers defense of old that I know would have eaten them alive after getting 2 interceptions, but Sam Darnold was still able to bring them back and ended up with an 89.8. Not great, but certainly better than a 58.0. So knowing that the defense gave up 30-plus points and this offense only scored about 17, they had a debate on First Take earlier this week about, hey, what's the bigger concern in Pittsburgh? Is it the offense or defense? And Bobby, just the phrasing of the question already lets you know they're not in a good position. If you're asking, hey, is the offense or defense a greater concern? That's no good. But as we all know, Stephen A. Smith, he is first and foremost a Steelers fan. So here was his take along with Woody afterwards.
I think it's the defense, me personally, because the Steelers have already given up as many 30-point games in the first 2 games of this season than they did all of last season. I'm very, very concerned about that, and I'm very, very concerned because of injuries. Joey Porter Jr. is out. Deshaun Elliott is out. Yesterday during the game, Alex Highsmith, Isaiah Loudermilk, Patrick Queen, and Peyton Wilson all left the game due to injuries. And so now you're expecting at least a couple of them to miss a couple of weeks or so because of the high ankle sprains, and they're already depleted. And so I'm very, very concerned about that because they can't stop the run. They're surrendering about 150 yards a game. 4.4 yards a carry. You look at Kenneth Walker III right there. That's 19 yards. He walked into the end zone untouched. 19 yards and nobody touched him. That's not a Steelers defense that I'm accustomed to seeing. And that's what has me concerned. Coming into this season, we expected their defense to be stout. It was their offense that we had legitimate questions about. I'm not saying you still don't have those questions about the offense because they can't run the football. Najee Harris is going to the Chargers 1 year, $5.25 million. You would have thought you could have kept her for that amount of money, but they didn't do so. And so now you're relying on Warren, who can ball, but you're not getting much help, much production from your running back spot. So these are the Steelers that can't seem to run and can't stop the run, but also got a bevy of injuries in their secondary, and they're giving up 30-plus points. Right now, the defense would be more of a priority for me than the offense in terms of what's ailing them. But across the board, things don't seem good right now as far as I'm concerned. But it's only week 2, and they did win week 1. So Aaron Rodgers, I think, is absolutely right. You got to roll with the highs and the lows the same way. You can't overreact to either.
You would?
Yeah, listen, I'm more concerned about the offense. Yeah. And here's why, because they cannot run the football. And like the whole premise of this offense under Arthur Smith, they want to run it and they want play action pass. Mm-hmm. When you take away the run aspect, you basically put everything on Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers was sacked 4 times last week against the Jets with even more, countless more pressures. That Seattle defense got after Aaron Rodgers again. Guys, we're talking about a 41-year-old quarterback that's right now playing in a one-dimensional offense. If they can't run the football, it will be open season on Aaron Rodgers, and he will, trust me, he will not last throughout the season under the constant barrage of opposing defenses because they're one-dimensional. So I got the offense.
Hey, legitimate arguments from each one, which is good news in Baltimore. You got people more concerned with each. Both have legitimate arguments. The Ravens don't feel bad for the Steelers.
Not great so far. This is the formula that will lead to failure for Pittsburgh, quite frankly. I mean, he's already been sacked 7 times, Sarah. And to Damian's point, he's 41 years old. He doesn't have the mobility. Never really had true mobility as it is. You know, sort of that prototypical prolific passer in the pocket that we've seen for, you know, multiple decades from the guy. But this is the failure formula so far. Now, granted, look, this game was a lot closer than I think the final score indicates. Pittsburgh gave up 17 fourth quarter points to Seattle. So you think about that going into the fourth quarter. This was a game. This was anybody's game. But much like the Ravens did week 1, it was a fourth quarter collapse by that defense. And certainly doesn't help that there were 2 interceptions thrown in there, like we mentioned too, from Rodgers. So he's already been sacked 7 times through 2 games. It's a young and inexperienced offensive line. They do not have a ground game right now that will allow for complementary football. As Stephen A. mentioned, you've got injuries to boot, defensively speaking. This is tough. But like I said, over the next 3 or 4 weeks, you can kind of mask some of this with some lesser opponents that are coming up on your schedule. But when you put them up against the Ravens, while I still could see one of those fluky regular season splits when it comes to the rivalry, there's such a talent gap here that you got to sweep that regular season series like you do with Cleveland and then allow at some point for that letdown to happen, whether it be, you know, maybe, well, I would say it's Cincinnati, but they're without Joe Burrow for the next 3 months. So we'll have to see. I mean, it's easy to sit here and be like, oh, the AFC North is the Ravens, but you know how it goes in this division.
Well, it is the Ravens.
It is the Ravens.
Said,
but
there
it also
could be a fluke, but at this point on paper, the Ravens, division games are different. So if it weren't division, like I would say that the Ravens should sweep all three of these teams. They've already beaten the Browns. Without Joe Burrow, they should sweep the Bengals. They just do not have a defense that should be able to slow Lamar Jackson and company. And the Steelers, again, like you said, it's fluky. So maybe the Steelers could get one, but it is the Ravens division. It's the Ravens division to lose. It's the Ravens who would need to absolutely collapse. Like I said in the offseason, Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers team didn't scare me. Same thing can still happen because it's the division, but the AFC North should be an easy run into the end zone, slam dunk for the Ravens at this point.
Of course it should be. We'll see.
And
if
it most likely will be. I think it's like, again, fluky stuff, but like what percentage would you give it to the Ravens? Like what percent would you say, okay, I feel 90% confident that the Ravens are going to win the division? 95%? I mean, as long as Lamar Jackson stays healthy, I'm close to that 95% and above that the Ravens are going to win this division.
Yeah, it's a hefty confidence level. I guess I would, and I'm not even sure you're saying this, but I would just push back against like the whole like, hey, they're sweeping the division for the rest of the way. There's just
I wouldn't predict that they will, but they should. Like that, they should. But again, winning it, I'm like 95% plus confidence level.
There's a significant talent gap. It's them and it's the rest of these three teams. And we'll see how fluky AFC North football gets when it's the Steelers in particular. I don't see a lot of flukiness this year with Cleveland, especially since they won't see them for a while. Who knows? When the next time they see them, Sarah, Cleveland could be out of the playoff contention. The next time they see them. And we'll see if Jake Browning's able to, keep the Bengals at least in it mathematically. They won't see them until Thanksgiving night, and then they'll see him twice in a 3-week stretch. So yeah, I mean, we're on the same page here that they should absolutely win this division handily. And we'll see if Pittsburgh over the next few weeks can kind of right this ship to, Pittsburgh. Clearly this fan base has a sour taste in their mouth coming off a Seattle game where, again, they surrendered 17 fourth quarter points. So not good enough at all.
Quick hits? Or super
let's do it.
We can do
which do you prefer?
Let's rip through the quick hits, then we'll get to all the super chats so we can like have a little bit of fun with it. So let's see where we should begin. Oh, so Marlon Humphrey has a new podcast with a new co-host, and he put up a video last night reacting to this play that we've talked about where he should have had an interception. I've looked at the replay a few times. We'll watch it again here in a second. It feels like somebody tipped it, but maybe it didn't. Either way, it came out of his hands, and Cedric Tillman got the touchdown. This is Marlon Humphrey's analysis on himself for this missed interception.
It was a good day at the office. As an individual, it just got stained. Oh my gosh. See, bro, look, what the freak? What the freak? Let me see the video again. The ball, I see it, but something must have caught my eye. Bro, I think it was Kyle.
You really tracked it too, Marlo. And look, bro, the ball's still in the air. They could have came off Kyle's foot, it looks like. Oh my God, bro. Dude, they scored a touchdown?
Yes.
I guess his co-host doesn't watch the games. He's like, oh, wait, they scored? Okay, let's continue.
That's just bad. Like, I'd let it get, I'm just happy we freaking won the game with me playing for the other team. And that's all that really freaking, that would have been pick number 20 also. Not gonna lie, I was actually sick.
Okay, we watched it a few times. Did 44 knock it? I feel like he did.
Oh, God, I got to go back and look. Hold on. Let's mute it this time.
Let's
take a look. Run that to the highlight.
What's it right there?
I don't know. Did he? Oh, Sarah, that's so tight. Let me.
Right there.
I don't think he touched that.
I think he did. I need another angle, though.
Yeah, but if he did, it's like.
Well, why else is it just suddenly popping out when his hand is right there?
No, I don't think he touched it.
Okay, what say the chat?
Hey.
Did 44 touch it? Melvin says no. The chat is just saying he should have knocked it down. I would have liked the interception. Like, it's in his hands.
This right here, Sarah. I just think this to me is the evidence that's not touched.
That's after.
No, I know. It's right. It's right as it happens. Here again. I'll freeze frame it for you.
Okay.
Bang, bang. All right, hold on.
Boom.
Bang. I mean, I'm pausing it as quickly as I can. I mean, even if he even if he does, I mean, it's like a skin particle that touches that football.
That's true.
But so anyway, I guess I guess he's got his new YouTube channel, Sarah. Looks like he's doing something different this year. After the Punchline podcast last year with Jack Settleman. What's funny about Marlon is so he has a ghostwriter handling his Twitter, because I thought he was going dark as he does in season on social media. And all I've been seeing is tweets from Marlon Humphrey on X and YouTube channel episodes dropping. So I guess his ghostwriter, apparently this guy right here, who's the host, is handling all of it.
Maybe he calls the guy and say, "Hey, post this," and like he transcribes it. I don't know.
I don't know. But anyway, from one member of the Ravens defense to the next, Sarah, and this was probably the easiest decision that the NFL could make, whoever votes for this, because Roquan Smith has earned AFC Defensive Player of the Week after a phenomenal performance against Cleveland. 15 total tackles, 3 tackles for loss, 63-yard fumble recovery off the Tavius Robinson strip sack. He brought that thing to the house. Awesome game from him. And I have a Ravens comms note as well. It's Roquan's first career, shockingly, his first career Defensive Player of the Week award. He becomes the first Raven to win it since Kyle Hamilton in week 16 of 2023, and the first Ravens linebacker to earn it since Justin Houston. You got to go back to week 9 of 2022 for that one.
It's too long ago. That just tells you how bad 2024 was for the Ravens defense. So love this for Roquan. Love him coming back. Now I want to see him to be player of the week when they're playing Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen or, anybody else that's not like 40 years and older. So let's keep this going. Let's keep this rolling. Good comeback game for Roquan.
Ho!
What? You're oh, what is happening? Dude, your jaw was on the ground, and I'm like, what just happened? And then it popped up. Holy crap.
Look, you usually slump in your chair for negative related things. I'm slumped because 1, my vocals hurt. My vocal cords hurt. And 2, and I genuinely mean this, 2, I am overwhelmed at this channel community. It's overwhelming for the audio only audience. Young Cherokee Peasy, YCP, who's already, Sarah, had some big donations as it is in recent weeks, just dropped a $500 spot. I believe if you take channel memberships out of the equation, this is the single most generous gift on a one-time basis that we've ever received.
Super chat.
For super chats from YCP, who just dropped a $500 nugget inside this vault. And he writes, shout out from Southeast Washington, D.C. I went to the Ravens-Browns game. It was legendary. Going to the Monday Night Football game against the Rams coming up. Go Flock. Hope to see y'all in person. One love. Y'all keep stepping. How y'all stepping, fam? I'm stepping just fine, YCP. I'm stepping just fine. I'm Meatloaf stepping. Not a Meatloaf. YCP. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's okay, Tilly. YCP's in the building. He's our Lord and Savior. He's our protector. It's a $500 spot from YCP. Are you serious? This community. You guys are
what?
Seriously.
What have we done to have such an amazing community? I don't think it's a disconnect for me. It's a disconnect for me. You guys make coming to work, quote unquote work, absolutely amazing. How can you not wake up in the morning and be like, I cannot wait to go and talk on the vault this morning? It's unreal. The people that we have with us supporting us, Bobby. It's unreal.
Yeah. It makes this simply people showing up in viewership capacities make this thing incredibly gratifying, being that we started from scratch, 3 years ago and change. When people start doing stuff like this, which is so unexpected, so unnecessary, let's just be clear on that, so unnecessary, but yet it takes the level of gratitude to levels of that are hard to describe, which is leading to like broken English right now, right? Like it's like you don't even know how to properly acknowledge this type of generosity from people that apparently join us every single day and get something out of what we do here. And it just
and what's crazy is it allows us to invest in the show more, right? And so like people like Huddle It Up Films or other film study guys that like we know film study takes a lot of time. So we kind of like try to be generous moving it forward and say, hey, if you come on our show, it's not just, you know what I mean? Like this type of stuff helps us invest in the show and have on guests like Huddle It Up and say, hey, Huddle It Up, will you spend hours on end looking at Andrew Vorhees for us? You know what I mean? Stuff like that. And so my goodness, it just makes me want to just keep, making the show better and better.
I think that's a great point. As I love what you just said, because it just peels back the curtain a little bit and then reminds me of what our objectives were this offseason. I called it an offseason of refinement, and I know that you agreed with me on that. We got together for the first time for our Vault Summit. We completely revamped we started a merch line. We revamped our thumbnails. We revamped so many back-end business items. We made a pitch deck. We worked with folks on Fiverr and outsourced a lot of our back-end stuff that was falling on my plate. We made our first hire from an editing standpoint, and it's support like this that continues to motivate us to continue to refine the show, expand the show how we can, make it more digital friendly, make it more, diversified, all of this. And so it's just a long way of saying thank you to YCP, who got us on a complete tangent off quick hits with an unbelievable donation. And we will go back to super chats.
I just have to put this one out in just a second. Eric came in, Eric's been like a massive donor over like this whole couple of weeks and whatever. And Eric's like, well, okay. Young Cherokee. Well, dang. Okay. You even got Eric with his jaw on the ground a little bit here.
Yeah.
So
I know it. Eric, I'm telling you, you're probably at 500 plus this week. So it's not like that big of a wow from you. We're wowing still, whether it's you, whether it's YCP, Douglas H. Brown Sr., PHP. I mean, you guys are just unbelievable supporters. You're really like one-man wrecking crews of support and growth and building of this channel. So goes without saying, Sarah and I, just from the bottom of our heart, thank you for your continued overwhelming support of the Vault. Malik Cunningham, Sarah, this was a funny move yesterday. That Detroit, I believe this came in at the end of the show. Am I remembering that correctly?
We reacted very quickly at the end.
We did. A little gamemanship, if you will. Detroit went and signed Malik Cunningham, the former Patriot, the former Louisville Cardinal. And I went back and spruced up my mind and my memory on the Malik-Lamar relationship. Remember, Lamar's final season at Louisville was Malik's first and was a redshirt year. He went on to have a lot of success at Louisville, spent many years there, was undrafted. Patriots bring him in. Then the Ravens bring him in 2023. They convert him to a wide receiver. He spent the last couple of years on Baltimore's practice squad in the organization. Well, Detroit's like, we need to look at what could potentially simulate Lamar Jackson. Sarah, I had a great time yesterday cutting up some clips in my files, my laundry list of files of coaches and players over the years, talking about how you exactly strategize or try to simulate Lamar Jackson. You want to take a walk down memory lane with me for a second?
Would love nothing more right now.
I think you're going to appreciate this one. It took some time, but I enjoyed doing it. Here is a Lamar Jackson simulation compilation. That's what I described it as from over the years, getting ready for number 8, the opponent's perspective.
Really, there's only one Lamar Jackson at the end of the day. So you do the best you can to try and simulate it. Good luck.
We'll have both of our quarterbacks, so they'll try their best.
And Mike said I might spy Lamar, but I don't know. That's a tough feat for anyone to spy Lamar, man. So fast, so shifty.
You practice hard against, a look that you're trying to show what he can do, but it's impossible to replicate that.
I offered my skill set to be scout team quarterback to try to replicate it, but it was not accepted. So it's hard to even give an appropriate look. He's just that type of player.
Tough to replicate that character. Yeah, I think every team that plays Baltimore is in the same boat. You just got to brace for impact on game day.
Yeah,
Sarah,
that was perfect, Bobby.
the money quote there at the end. I think everybody is in the same boat when facing Baltimore. You just got to brace for impact on game day. That from quarterback's coach in Cleveland. And I'll tell you what, this is the type of stuff that you hear week in and week out. And whether it was Trey Lance during the Cowboys week in past years, whether it's now Malik Cunningham, whether it's Anthony Brown before the divisional round game that Buffalo brought in, teams are desperate, Sarah, to try and strategize against Lamar Jackson. And outside of Kansas City and Pittsburgh, not necessarily recently, but Pittsburgh, let's say leading up to last year, those two teams have had success. Outside of that, particularly when it comes to NFC teams, they are grasping at ideas and ways to somehow, some way stifle this presence that is Lamar Jackson that has such a stranglehold on the National Football League. I thought it was a fun way to remind everybody that teams are willing to do whatever it takes. And Detroit, while this is absolutely legal, by the way, absolutely legal, they're trying to do whatever it takes going up on Monday night.
You know, I love that you found the time to do that because it's just so perfect. I mean, obviously, you know, the Lions got trounced by the Ravens last time. I'm sure they thought they had a better game plan than they did. So they're grasping at straws here. But it's so great for you to pull that all in and be like, okay, go ahead and get Malik Cunningham. But again, Lamar's 1 of 1. So what's that going to do? So, Bobby, our reaction was yesterday. You getting that clip was all those the coaches' reactions to trying to game plan for Lamar Jackson. But have you seen Zay Flowers' reaction to this news that he posted on his Instagram page? And for some reason, it pulled in the wrong one. Let me try this again.
I got it right here, partner. I put it in the slides right before the show.
Oh, you did? Oh, good. Well, go back to the slides because it keeps pulling up something different for me. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, I got you. Let's see. Let's remove this. Let's throw this up here right now.
There
There's Zay Flowers right before we came on the show.
Zay Flowers from his Instagram page. He's got the Instagram photo from Football Forever that has, you know, just the golden signed font. Malik Cunningham going over to the Lions. Oh, it looks so gorgeous. Then Zay puts up a photo of himself with a side eye from the locker room. And I don't know if I can translate his caption very well. He says, all right. I don't know what nigh is. Somebody's going to have to educate me. I'm watching you. Congrats, though, Brody. So, like, you know, everybody in the locker room is like, you better not go too ops on us because this is a brotherhood and we're watching you. Do not give away too much information here, Malik.
Eric's got me distracted in the live chat because he's doing Eric Hill things, but this was hysterical. I wouldn't go anywhere near trying to decipher this Instagram story. So God bless you. But yes, Zay Flowers, hilariously congratulating his teammate. These guys work together, Sarah, in the offseason, as we know, as we've covered since they're South Florida boys. I believe, is Malik originally from South Florida? Don't quote me on that, but they were together in South Florida.
I'm pretty sure they were. Yeah.
Malik was. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they were together this offseason working. Clearly, there's a brotherhood and a friendship there. And now the Lions, Sarah, are going to try to do whatever they can, whether it's picking his brain in the days leading up to this one and or using Malik's, what we know, his dual threat capabilities, right? Nobody's Lamar Jackson, but Malik is an athlete, and he is a skilled one at that. And he has successfully transitioned, baby. Maybe not necessarily to, I don't know why I just said baby. I said maybe not necessarily transition to a 53-man roster wide receiver, that caliber in the NFL, but he has been in Baltimore for a reason for the last couple of years, and he has shown flashes of some of the success that he's enjoyed. You know, from TJ says knee is now.
Well, and no, Max says all right, and I is all right now. That makes a little bit more sense, right?
Okay.
He says,
anyway,
all right now, I'm watching you. Congrats, though, Brody.
I got you.
And also, I was mistaken. So Malik Cunningham, born in Montgomery, Alabama, went to high school at Park Crossing in Montgomery, but he went to college. Do you want to take a guess?
Malik?
Yeah.
Oh, he went to Louisville.
Okay, so there you go. Sorry.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier because remember his redshirt year was Lamar's final season, and so anyway, they get together in South Florida. He's not originally from there, as you noted, but this was funny from Zay, and now Detroit's going to try and do whatever it takes to soak up as much as they can of Malik Cunningham before this blockbuster Monday Night Football matchup coming up next week. Other roster notes here. Nick Samac, 7th round pick. What was it? Michigan State? Do I have that right? Nick Samac, 2024, day 3 pick of the Ravens, center guard. Yeah, he's going to Carolina. He was on the Ravens practice squad, as Jeff noted here. So Carolina claims him. He is heading to the Panthers. And Sarah wants you to take this one from Malik Ham.
Well, on Samac real quick, remember he was on the 53-man roster last year, but he got beat out this year. By what's his name? He was an undrafted rookie last year, worked hard, had a phenomenal offseason. Then he was the one who got put on the 53-man roster. His name is escaping me, but that's a good pickup, I think. Was it the Colts you said that picked him up? The slide before?
No.
Samac.
Well, Samac's going to Carolina.
Okay, Carolina. But I think it's a good pickup for Carolina. I mean, Samac was good enough to be on the Ravens roster the entire season last year, but he just got beat by somebody who just had a better offseason. So, but anyway, to fill up some of these practice squad vacancies, one of them went to outside linebacker Malik Ham, who was with the Ravens for much of the spring camps and training camp.
Let's figure out who are you referring to from last year, the undrafted rookie?
You talking about roster?
But are you talking about just in general, not on the offensive side of the ball?
No, he's a center, or he
center.
transitioned to center.
He transitioned to center. We're not talking about this year's Corey Bullock. You're talking about last year.
No, I'm talking about Corey Bullock, but Corey Bullock was an undrafted rookie last year.
Okay, Corey Bullock then.
So it was Corey Bullock. Yes,
yep.
Thank you.
There you have it.
Thank you, chat and Bobby.
Yep. All good. Just wanted to be thorough on that. And let's get to a cool wide receiver chart here from Matt Harmon. And take a look. Puka Nacua is covering him in this chart, just to be clear. So Zay Flowers is in the upper right-hand corner. And this takes a look at yards per route over targets per route. And Matt Harmon, Sarah, who, of course, is the wide receiver guru analyst here. You can follow him on X, at Matt Harmon. He notes that we already knew Puka Nacua, the Rams, was the man, but fellow year 3 wide receivers, Seattle's Jackson Smith-Njigba, and Baltimore's Zay Flowers joined him in the freak show per route performers in the top right corner through 2 weeks. He goes on to write, doesn't feel like there's been enough discussion on Flowers in particular, taking what looks like a big leap in his 3rd season, partner.
And that's after a Pro Bowl year in his 2nd season. So you can't see him because he is being covered up by Puka Nacua, which is a great news, by the way. Shout out Puka BYU. You can hardly see Zay because he's literally directly behind Puka, meaning that they are like having the exact same season in terms of per route kind of numbers. I mean, it is freakish numbers. Like there's just, for the audio only, there's just a massive group. What it looks like to me, Bobby, is when you watch 2nd graders play soccer and all the 2nd graders just follow the ball around. Okay, that's what the main group looks like. And then it's these 3, Puka, Jackson Smith-Njigba, and Zay Flowers out playing soccer by themselves on a whole different level. And remember, Matt Harmon, in case maybe you already said it, but the owner and creator of Reception Perception.
Setting himself up for a nice payday in the coming years. And we know he changed representation in this offseason too. You know he's ready and gearing up for it. Tom Brady, minority owner for the Raiders. He's been in the news quite a bit here lately since he showed up in the press box the other night. So he's a minority owner with the Raiders. He broadcasts for Fox on the A-team. And the NFL announced that he is, quote, prohibited from going to a team facility for practices or production meetings. But as Schefter notes, he's allowed to sit in the coach's booth. So Grant Paulson, friend of the show, we had him on leading into the Commanders week. You might remember, Sarah, last week. He is a radio personality down in D.C. Love Grant. And he calls out, I think rightfully so, a little bit of this hypocrisy here. He says this is such a ridiculous conflict of interest. Brady was just calling the Commanders game last week. He got tons of behind-the-scenes access, but he can just be in the coaching booth when they play in Washington next week. How is this allowed? It's nuts. Let him know, Grant Paulson. And Sarah, Mike Sando, and others, Albert Breers, quote tweeting Grant Paulson, like, yeah, we've heard from coaches around the league that are echoing these sentiments. Of course they are. This seems like Tom Brady home cooking. A little bit of Tom Brady treatment going on from the NFL here.
Yeah, which is why I think it's because the coaches weren't happy that the NFL, created some action and said, okay, Tom Brady is no longer allowed. He's prohibited from going to a team facility for practice or production meetings. I mean, other teams could be like, okay, I'm just not talking to you, Tom. But then Tom can't do his job. Bobby, I remember, oh my gosh, what a time it was when I was an intern in 2005, my very first year. I remember bringing coaches and players to production meetings with John Madden when he was still going strong. And boy, oh boy, did they give up information in those meetings, because they want them to be able to be good and informative during these games, but they trust them not to let certain secrets get out. And so for sure, that's kind of the nature of those. And so to have an owner in there, and then the owner is in the box, the coaching box, yeah, that shouldn't fly. Even if maybe Tom Brady's the most honest dude on the planet. I don't know. He seemed to be pretty competitive. But even if he were, it's a bad look. It's a bad look. He shouldn't be able to do both. I think it was right for the NFL to make this move.
I'm a huge fan of Tom. I tend to think that Greg Olsen is the more enjoyable listen in the Fox booth. And it bummed me out, Sarah, that after Tom took the year off, once he retired, Fox just immediately demoted Greg. And I think Greg is one of the best analysts in the entire game. And I hope the Ravens play on Fox at some point this year. Typically, they play on Fox when it's an NFC opponent, but I know some of those rules and rights have changed in recent years. We're going to be better for it when Kevin Burkhardt and Greg Olsen get a game, because they are a tremendous listen on Fox. And I hope that Greg Olsen continues to get, rightfully a game, A1 games at some point, even though Tom's, I know, the bigger name. I think Greg Olsen, for my money, is the better analyst when it comes to explaining the game in layman's terms and the overall viewership quality that he brings to the table on the national level. Our final quick hit before we revisit Super Chats. We've kind of teased this a couple times, Sarah, just the utter dominance that the Ravens have put forth both in Lamar's era in Baltimore and John Harbaugh's era since 2008 home primetime games. Baltimore owns an NFL best 22-3 record in primetime home games since John Harbaugh got to Baltimore in 2008. On Monday night, 5 consecutive victories. That matches the NFL's longest active streak at ties with Pittsburgh. Both the Steelers and the Ravens, Sarah, have ripped off 5 straight home primetime Monday Night Football games. Lamar himself, 10-1 in such games. That's home primetime games, posting 30 total touchdowns, 24 passing and 6 rushing. This was put out by Ravens Comms. And as you see here, the best home records in primetime since 2008. Ravens lead the way, 22-3. That's a win percentage of 880, 25 games total. Green Bay just below them. Seattle just below the Packers. And there you have at the left-hand side of this graphic, Sarah, everything coming up on what's supposed to be a blockbuster primetime evening in Baltimore. Samantha Polino, friend of the show, Sarah, will have the national anthem yet again. She was tremendous last year. We had a chance to have her on in the days that followed. Carmelo Anthony's going to be the honorary captain. They're going to give away enhanced LED wristbands on your way into the bank. They will have a legend of the game by the name of Michael Pierce, former nose tackle who retired in the offseason. Good Charlotte will have the halftime show performance. Parking lots open up at 3:30, and I should say 3:45. Miller Lite Gatehouse Ravens walk opens at 5:15, and the Gaines to the bank at 6:15. Sarah, I'm going to be at B-More Around Town for the pregame show. It's going to be a heck of a night in Baltimore.
And final quick hit, just wanted to take a look back when Ozzie Newsome, Ray Lewis, and Jonathan Ogden were in the tunnel before they came out for the 30th season halftime introduction. This was really fun to watch these three talk before they came out in front of the entire crowd and stadium at M&T Bank.
First time I've ever been down here for this. Really? I've never been down here for this. He's up here feeling nice. I said, now, you know what, hey, you ain't never been down here when I done my intro. What? That's like not going to a Michael Jackson concert. I know. Hey, I have a good vantage point, you know. You do. Yeah, I have a good vantage point. Very good point. Yeah. It's going to be the quickest out and back in the history. I tell you, all you got to do is walk right to the pylon, turn around so these fans can see you. And walk right back. Okay, I'm going to follow you. Oh, you know I got my plan. That's why I told you, look, pylon, okay, make a circle, you hit that famous wave, and then keep going. Hi, hello. Yeah. Just so the people behind you can capture the picture. That's all they do. I'm following.
Please welcome the legendary Ozzie Newsome.
If you start with who established the Ravens, my mind always goes to Ozzie Newsome as far as the standard.
Do that.
Ozzie Newsome, who is the legend.
Yeah, I would just do that. I just wanted to show the conversation between the two. Bobby, first of all, my first note is Ray Lewis can't not coach people. Like, he's even coaching Ozzie Newsome how to come out and do his wave. The second thing I thought of, you know how people say if you want to know a man's character, give him power and see how they deal with that power? Ozzie Newsome, the time that I was at the Ravens, the vast majority of the time, he was the man with the most power in the building because he's the GM. He made decisions. Everybody respected him. And boy, do I feel like I know Ozzie Newsome's character, because that man would not, for any reason, need to know me. I started as an intern. Every time I passed him in the hallway, and this is not everybody that does this, every single time I passed him in the hallway, "Hey, Sarah, how are you?" And I'm like, holy cow, Ozzie Newsome knows my name. I've said this before, my last day with the Ravens, he came out of his way. You know, he does not want to be in the middle of the media. He came out in the middle of a media scrum. I feel a tap on my shoulder. I turn around, it's Ozzie. He's like, "Hey, congratulations on a great time in Baltimore. We're going to miss you," and gave me a bear hug. And I'm just like, this man is the nicest man on the planet, and he has the most power in this building at an NFL stadium or an NFL franchise. Love that man. Him saying that he wants to get in and out, that's so true to Ozzie. He does not like the spotlight, but boy, one-on-one, is he one of the greatest guys to talk to.
I love that story. A legend's legend. 2 Hall of Fame careers in one lifetime. Congratulations to him. Awesome celebratory efforts made by the Ravens across the board for that 30th anniversary last weekend. And man, that's a heck of a trio right there. Heck of a trio. J.O., Ozzie, Ray, so many others were in attendance as well. But those were a few of the Gold Jacket attendees. Okay, let's get caught up on Super Chats before we jump on out of here. And thanks to all of you. And again, Sarah and I will have coverage all day leading up to Monday Night Football. We will have a 12 noon show. I will be in Baltimore. For those of you that are going to be around, I will be in Baltimore for this game. First one outside of a press box on U.S. soil as a spectator. It should be a lot of fun coming up on Monday night. And then you and I will have our post-game show, of course, around midnight on Monday. You got to let me know where we left off here. I think it was...
Let me go look. Because we jumped ahead to that $500 burger.
I want to say we left off with PHP, right? Because he was examining just how much of a loss Pat Ricard's presence, or lack thereof, has been for this Ravens offense. Sod Blitz wanted to correct himself and refer to the Steelers as the Pittsburgh Seniors. And that brings us to a $20 spot from Park Heights Profit. That's the orange banner attached. And he writes, "Who would be scared of a team that hasn't won a playoff game since TVs were still floor models? They are a constant 500 team, and the steel industry is gone. I was in Pittsburgh, and they played the song," meaning Renegade. "I felt nothing. Soft," PHP writes. Dreams is checking in, a hilarious rebuttal to the Steelers segment.
PHP likes to take on entire cities. He's already talked about Buffalo. Now he's doing Pittsburgh. He's just hilarious when he wants to take on an entire city.
He is fearless. Dreams checking in today.
He says, has Baltimore ever went 6-0 in the division? I'm going to look up the division history real quick. I don't think so.
Please do. Sod Blitz writes, 4th down. If he caught it, we still lose yards. I think referring to the Marlon Humphrey segment from earlier on. I mean, this deserves repeat. We mentioned it, and we lost our ability to talk while doing so. But YCP, just in case you guys popped on recently, dropped in our most, I think, from an individual super chat perspective.
Yes.
The biggest, most lucrative donation that this channel has ever received. It's young Cherokee Peasy and a $500 spot on top of that. You are the man, YCP. Thank you for your continued support. You are unbelievably generous. Marcus says, Sarah, you know it's called favor. I don't know what this was referring to.
This is when I asked, I said, I don't know what we've done to deserve such a great community and so much love and support. And I think he's talking about divine favor. And obviously all gratitude always goes to God, number one, first and foremost. And at the same time, God has to use his people to do his work. And so when you have people like the VAULTRONs supporting us, everybody could say, no, I don't want to be generous, or maybe they can't, you know what I mean? But that you could be in a position, number one, and then number two, to just be so generous. Yeah, all thanks, always God to first, but also to you guys for being so wonderful and just, yeah, just being so selfless. It's unreal.
Divine favor. I like that, Marcus. I like that a lot. Thank you for the sentiment. Sam writes, it is how real and down to earth y'all are. Love y'all. This is going back about 20 minutes when, again, we just sort of were at a loss for words when YCP dropped in the $500 super chat. So folks are just responding to that. Thank you, Sam, for those kind words. Thank you, Marcus. Quincy writes, I pray for Lay's bag of chips don't bite us in the playoffs. I saw him just standing there Sunday. Filet. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Wow. I hadn't heard this one before. So Quincy has now coined Daniel Fa'alele as Filet's bag of chips. That's actually pretty creative. I didn't get it at first, but now I do. And he's hoping that 77, who was not the problem, by the way, he may have had a bad rep or two, Sarah, on Sunday against Cleveland.
Yeah, I was just going to say, appreciate it. And obviously Fa'alele is not up to the standard that we all want. I just always like to push back when we like start to bury him and make fun of him. Like, I mean, he's a cool guy, and I'm here to criticize his play. I just hate going with like the nicknames that are a little bit more mean. That's just me, but thank you for your super chat.
Appreciate you, Quincy. Eric Hill, on top of what he's already done today,
Woo!
drops in a $50 super chat. And he writes, so here I was about to grow the wildfire, but never mind. Anyway, the super chat is for the Ravens Collective. My bank was like, hey, too many purchases last night. Anyways, yeah, $500. Soak it in, Bojita and Estot. You two and your families deserve it. Man, Eric, you are something else. Sarah's like, yo, get it going. I don't care about your freaking vocal cords. Mama, where are you at in upstate New York? If you're listening, I need some meatloaf on aisle 50. Make it aisle 50 and make it quick.
Never get old.
Eric Hill, you are you got to be freaking kidding me.
Oh, my God.
While you're at it, it's a 50 super chat gift from EH. That's EW and E50.
Woo!
We've probably got over 1,200 channel memberships at this point. This is that point in the episode where English goes off the plank. Walk the plank, my English. Eric Hill with a 50 spot till. Thank you, EH. You are the man. Shane Burnett with a 5 spot. Appreciate you, Shane. Eric thinks he's in Rome. Welp when in Rome. And Sarah, that brings us to Big O.
Says, can y'all do the raffle for the Monday Night Football tickets tomorrow just in case someone wins who doesn't live in Baltimore? Just wondering. I think that's a fair request.
Can we do the Monday Night Football tickets tomorrow? Okay.
Yeah,
right.
So that people who are not in Baltimore can turn around and be like, okay, I'm going to make it into town.
Okay, that's fine. Let's make a note on that. Thursday it is. We don't have a sponsor right now for tomorrow, so we could easily do a giveaway. Big O requesting that Park Heights, Eric Hill's generous offer of 2 tickets in the lower bowl, section 126, are offered up tomorrow in our giveaway. So come tomorrow, you leave the hashtag Vault with a comment in our live chat, and you will enter yourself in randomly to win 2 tickets to Ravens Lions coming up on Monday night. King Lee is trying to match the donation put forth by YCP of $500, but he says it's not letting him. King, you don't need to do it, bro. You don't need to do it. Maybe YouTube is telling you, hey, listen, we don't need to do this right now. But you're the man. And Kirsten wants to know if my mom is upstairs. No, I'm just trying to scream to her from South Florida to upstate New York that we need meatloaf on deck. That goes back to, of course, the inside joke. And I need to take a breath for a second before I address this. Why don't you
I
read
got
it
this
from Kobe Pruitt. It's a 50 spot from KB.
I might go out, but I'll help you and your vocal cords out. Here we go. Did that make it in?
We didn't hear anything. Not a single ounce of that.
Not the meatloaf.
There it is.
The meatloaf. I guess I gotta just break it down. You've got that baritone voice, you know. I'm more alto. I'm not even soprano. I don't know why. Whatever.
Unbelievable.
But the meatloaf. Here we go. Kobe Pruitt. He says, I can't have Eric making me look bad, showing you guys some love. Nick Wright better get used to Lamar on the top of Mahomes Mountain. He may want to consider changing the name to Lamar's Lighthouse. Ooh, I like that.
You know what?
I like it a lot.
KB, I like you too. I like you too. I tell you what, this Tampa girl, if you can hear me across the bridge, St. Pete's about 20, 25, 30 minutes from Tampa. I just matched with a very cute girl who's a lawyer and a redhead, by the way. And for those of you, totally TMI. But when I grow out my facial hair, there's a red tint. If she and I are to get together and be each other's soulmates, we're going to have redheads. That's neither here nor there. If she can hear me across the bridge, hey, Summer, who I just matched with in Tampa just a couple days ago, we're going on a walk and talk tomorrow night. We need the meatloaf over here at St. Pete right now. KB with a 50 spot. Let's go. And speaking of Tampa, a man who celebrates his 30th birthday tomorrow, Jets extraordinaire YouTuber, and a friend of the show, Jake Asman, who opens up opportunities for us, Sarah, on a semi-annual basis, and will be here this weekend for Jets Bucks. Unfortunately, Tyrod Taylor will be QB1 because Justin Fields was just ruled out. But Jake is here, and he writes, when I grow up, I want to be Eric Hill. Holy cash.
Seriously. He also may have missed Cherokee there.
I think he did. I think he may have. Yeah. Jake, you are the man. Can't wait to see him in Tampa this weekend before I'm wheels up to Baltimore. Park Heights Prophet says, and also in Lot G, Bobby Blufferman, LOL. Lot G is where the Vaultrons apparently will be descending upon, coming up on pregame Monday night. I still have to chat and come up with a strategy, Sarah, for what my day will be. You and I will be live from 12 to 2, apparently. That's what the program runs these
seriously,
days.
What is happening?
We try our best. We always try our best in our pre-show
Every
meetings.
pre-show meeting, I'm like, okay, seriously, I got a lot to do this afternoon. I got to get this done because my kids come home at 2:30. I'm like, I got stuff to get done. I was like, let's rip through it today. We got this. And every time we're like, okay, hour to an hour and a half. And without fail, here we are at 2:00.
It's
because
impossible.
How do you not give love to these super chats? How?
It's impossible. You guys are making this a 2-hour show, which complicates rather complicatedly, if that's a word, our afternoons. But we can't deny. You guys are undeniable. Your presence, your support, your generosity, your interest, your community aspect, it's all undeniable. And that's why we respond to this and we somehow make it work. So thank you so much. Just to reiterate that where I was going there, I will be in Baltimore on Monday for Ravens Lions. I will be at BMore Around Town's pregame tailgate, Sarah, where I've done the last several years of pregame shows. And so I don't know how I can incorporate Lot G into that. But if PHP emails me, we can come up with a plan.
Can
perhaps.
You go visit before the show starts?
I don't know, because if you and I are going to 12 to 2, depending on what's going on over there, I have to get set up at BMore. I don't know where Lot G is in comparison to 801 West Austin Street, where BMore will be. And so I just kind of have to figure out how that's all going to work logistically.
You either need a golf cart or a scooter, so you can just quickly zip in and zip out.
Well, and to answer Lewis's question here, it's on the Fed side of the stadium, okay? 801 West Austin Street. You guys can look that up. 801 West Austin Street is where I will be pregame live streaming from the BMore Around Town tailgate. So just wanted to let you guys know of that. We also want to say thanks to our patrons. There'll be more information coming up on my plans too, by the way. But Bill Justice and Toey Faree, before we get on out of here, thank you guys for the support that you give us through Patreon. You've been with us from the jump, and we appreciate you guys very much. Bill, Toey, thank you. Hope you're enjoying your seasons. Patreon.com/RavensVault podcast, which can be found in the show notes, or just go throw that in the search bar, and that's how you get to what we're offering there this football season.
Okay. I think we made it.
Eric responds to Jake, and he says, we haven't made it yet. I will be checking out your channel soon. I grew up a Jets fan. That's pretty cool.
Oh, interesting. He's
Very
converted.
Cool.
He's
Eric,
converted.
let me tell you, even if you don't like the Jets, Jake's somebody that you want to follow, man. He is one day going to have his own show, a daytime radio in the New York area. I just know it. He fills in for Michael Kay all the time. He's on ESPN New York. He's on Sirius. The guy's unbelievable, and he has single-handedly been a huge inspiration for me and us in this YouTube space since he made the call to go full-time not long ago after getting his career started in radio in Houston. So Thanks to Eric, thanks to Jake, and thanks to all of you for spending some time with us on just yet another really unique, special. We feel privileged to be with you on this Wednesday. Another 120-minute episode for you. Thank you to Wellness Plus Care. Man, what a week for our new sponsors, too. When you guys do this, just know that this means a lot more than just, for Sarah and I to go enjoy ourselves from an awesome, 2-hour show. This means a lot to our sponsors, too, especially when they're in the local area. That goes a long way. So thank you to Wellness Plus Care for the continued support. Thank you to Primary Residential Mortgage. I'll let you read this in just a second. And thank you to Gundry as well in Owings Mills. 3 local sponsors, Sarah, 3 sponsored episodes to kickstart this week. A lot of thanks from us to them and PHP on our way out.
Because Monday has to be a tight hour. I have food to cook. LOL. I will come on 12:50 for a tailgate info, and the Monday Night Football hype train. Lot G will be electric.
Okay, we got a lot to discuss, PHP.
Yes.
Why don't you email us? Then I think it'd just be easiest for us to go to texting in the days leading up to this. And quite frankly, this might be hard. I'll just be honest. It might be hard to get this done logistically, having done the pregame show efforts for a long time and knowing that Monday comes with a different type of commitment and difficulty, Sarah, getting around Baltimore and around that stadium leading up to kickoff. But let's chat. You guys know where I'll be, and you know where PHP and company will be at Lot G. For Sarah Ellison, I am Bobby Trossett signing off from this Wednesday live stream. You guys are incredible. We're coming up on that 25,000, and I should say 26,000 subscription count. We are 40, Sarah. I just refreshed the screen. 40 out from 26,000 subscriptions. Would love for you guys to subscribe to the channel today if you don't already. And thank you to those of you who gifted VAULTRON memberships today. We are at 1,243. I just refreshed the screen on that. Unbelievable community. Hopefully you guys feel like you continue to get unbelievable content. And we appreciate all of you for being unbelievable participants in today's show. For Sarah, I'm Bobby signing off. Thanks to Wellness Plus Care. Thanks to all of you. We'll catch up with you for a Thursday edition of a Ravens Lunch Hour live stream coming up on the 18th of September. For Sarah, I'm Bobby. I've said that 3 times already, but no English and my vocal cords hurt. Thank you guys for spending some time with us here inside the vault. We'll talk to you soon.